I mean, clearly there have been some changes and some more ordering of the way that things work, but it is my understanding that, or certainly Mr Dunn will have remembered, because it was a period that the events which probably led us to coming to Parliament, or very, very soon behind then, was the question of the exclusion of the ability of Marilyn Waring to speak on nuclear legislation, and the precedent was used, the system was used of putting up a senior colleague and stopping her. But so it had to be in the committee stages, it had to be a separate senior colleague on each occasion. In order, and as Mr Dunn will remember, as it happened in the end, I think the Honourable Richard Prebble gave her he yielded, and she managed to take a call that way. So it's not. And the last point I want to make is that I don't want to make any sort of reflection on the chair of the committee or the good faith that he was taking. It's clearly this is an unusual point of order, and so it's one that I haven't seen for a very long time when a closure. Well, I've never seen when a closure is being sought for two members together to be standing to compete for it.
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, given the quality of the debate this afternoon, I'm not surprised there were two members competing to close it down. But let me suggest, sir, that Standing Order 132 and its various provisions make it abundantly clear that any member can move a closure motion. Further, sir, the issue of yielding hasn't been a factor of standing orders since the MMP Parliament. That's some 14 odd years ago. And my third point would be that it's not unusual for the Speaker to look to the more senior MP to give them the opportunity to speak, in this case the senior whip. Hard to imagine who might have been more senior in the Parliament at the time. And Mr Speaker, I think there is no breach of standing orders here, nor is there any breach of convention here. And the closure motion was properly put according to the prescribed words that are required to be used. And the chairman of the committee, or I should say the acting speaker, has done totally the right thing in accepting that closure, going to the vote as to whether the debate should be closed. And now being in a position to put the question.
Thank you, members, for your contribution. I think an interesting point has been raised, and I've had some time to scrutinise various speakers' rulings and standing orders, and I'm guided pretty much by Standing Order 102, which states the factors to take into account when the Speaker is calling a member, and of course the Speaker in this case being the Chair, which the same rules would apply to. And the call as to who gets that call is entirely the prerogative of the Chair or the Speaker. And there is no obligation for the Chair or the Speaker to give a call to a member who has not taken a call, particularly more so in the case in committee where members have multiple calls. Can I just also make these observations? That the Chair, in accepting a call in the House Committee of a whole House, has no knowledge of what the nature of that call might be, whether it's to be a contribution to the debate or to seek a closure. The Chair just simply has no knowledge of what that nature might actually be. Can I also make this observation, as I think obliquely this is relating to the matter as to when or how the closure might have occurred. The Chair does not decide that it is time for the closure. The Chair decides that it's time for the House to determine if in fact it wants to seek the closure, and there is a pertinent difference on that matter. So let me just affirm that the Chair is under no obligation to give a call to a member who has not spoken. Point of order, Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Sir, I think And, I don't want to at all seem to be trifling with your ruling, but Sir, I think there is a very basic point that you have misunderstood in making your ruling, and that is the difference between the role of the Speaker and the role of the Chair. Sir, you've gone to factors to be taken into account by the Speaker in under 102, and that, of course, is subject to Standing Order 105 about members only being able to speak once, except where otherwise provided, to any question before the House. Sir, of course, there is no occasion when the Speaker is in the chair where there is an ability for a member to speak other than in reply, and I don't think anyone's suggesting that this is the case. There are very few occasions when there are motions before the House these days where there's a reply. It used to be something which was more frequent, and I don't think anyone would suggest that in this case Mr Tremaine was in reply because he wasn't the Minister and he wasn't moving the motion. So 102 is working on the assumption that people don't have multiple calls. And in fact, Sir, it does recognise seniority of members, the interests and expertise of the members who want to speak. It's something that's clear. It recognises that there is a priority and a system which goes there, Sir. But, Sir, that is the system that is used by the Speaker and does not take into account the exceptions to 105, which are in the first subclause or first clause, except as otherwise provided. And we know that it is as otherwise provided, Sir, that there are multiple calls on a committee stage, and clearly a number of us have had them, and Mr Tremaine we know is entitled to have the second call in order to seek the closure. And Sir, can I just put in brackets, while some of us might be unhappy with the closure being granted, none of us are arguing about the Chairman's right to put the question to the House. I think that's not in contention as part of this point of order, as you seem to indicate in your earlier ruling, Sir. So my submission to you is that while you were absolutely accurate as far as 102 is concerned, you failed to take into account the additional factor which has come through as a matter on a regular basis on a matter for rulings from chairs, certainly all the time that I've been in here, and that is that they have tended to give the call in committee stages to those people who have not had the call previously. And if in fact, and it might be a matter that you might want to refer to the Standing Orders Committee, where it might be appropriate to have an E in here, which says in the committee stages, the Speaker should take into account, the Chairman should take into account whether or not someone has previously had a call.
Whether or not the Standing Orders Committee wants to have a look at this, any member can raise that issue, and I would advise the member, if he believes that to be a significant issue, he should actually do that. Can I just refer the member to Standing Order 169 with regard to conduct of proceedings, where Standing Orders expressly say that the same rules apply for the conduct of proceedings in committee as in the whole House. So that affirms Standing Order 102. Members might also like to have a look at Speaker's Rule 26.3, which again affirms the issues around seniority. And so I am upholding the ruling which I have made, and I declare the House in committee.